What's up, guys? Let me ask you one question. Why should people pay you? And unfortunately, most people can't answer that question. So what I want to show you is a clip of last night's Contractor Growth Network webinar where I talk all about how do you actually understand your value, and most importantly, how do you get that value across? Check it out. What's up, guys? Hopefully everybody can hear me out there. Here is the topic of tonight. I love it. I love talking about it. I obviously wouldn't start off with a boring one for me, even though I really thought about, oh, let's just talk about the basics of marketing because that's what people really have to understand. I get it. You're not marketers. You're not really trying to understand the deep down level of this stuff. So let's just dig right into my first question. Whenever I talk to a new client or a new person, we always dive into, why should people pay you? Why do you matter? All right, so let's talk about that, because what happens a lot of times is we as business owners, we value ourselves one way, right? We know our strawberries and cream. We know the value that we are. However, this is a very subjective topic, because we're the ones valuing ourselves. We're the ones saying, yes, this project is 10 grand. When in reality, the homeowner is the one that's going, no, wait, it's only worth 4 grand. And then we get offended by going, no, are you serious? Like, do you not care about me at all? It's just a difference, because we're the ones that are putting this on ourselves and saying this is what we're worth. And then when they go, no, you're not worth that, we get mad, even though, again, it's all subjective. So what we're talking about tonight is, it's going to be, why do you matter? How do you understand what your unique selling proposition is? So why do you matter? Because at the end of the day, if you can't actually communicate your value or why people should pay you what you're worth, then it's going to be a pretty tough time. Either A, getting new business, or B, keeping the confidence in yourself to charge what you're worth, because everybody's going to come to you and go, nah, it's not really worth it. All right, so I like to go through these 4 different steps, and it's going to be, some are going to be easier than others to understand what you do. So first off, let's talk about what problem you solve. And what I mean by this is, what is the actual skill that you're doing? And the reason for this is, we complicate things a lot. We all do it because we all know way too much. So if I say, what problem do you solve, if you ask me? And here are the rules. 2 sentences max. Okay? Don't go in a whole dissertation. Very simple. 2 sentences max. Imagine this is your elevator pitch, right? It's got to be understood by a 7th grader is rule number 2, because you know, I date somebody that works in the world of investment banking, and no matter how many times she explains it to me, I don't understand it. And I don't know if you can actually explain investment banking in 2 sentences and to a 7th grader, but if you can, she doesn't know how to do it. So it's the confusion side of things is what really frustrates people, because we feel dumb. If you tell me what you do and I don't understand it, I truly feel dumb. So you have to be able to explain what you do in 2 sentences, understood by a 7th grader, and you start off with, I help. So for me, I help contractors grow their brand and generate leads. If you're a painter, I help homeowners repaint their house. Super simple, right? Remodeler, I help couples remodel their kitchen. Whatever it is, you're just leading off with something super simple, that if I said, hey, I help families remodel their kitchen, that's less than 2 sentences. It's understood by a 7th grader, and you start out with I help. So that's all we're really trying to do here, is trying to break down in a very simple form what you do. All right, can't be complicated. If you notice, a lot of people, if I go, oh, you know, what are you? They might say, oh, I'm a general contractor, I'm a GC. Got it. Does a 7th grader know what a GC is? I didn't know what a GC was in 7th grade, right? I just heard I'm in construction, right? So you have to understand, when you say things like I'm a GC, the contracting world gets that. But homeowners, unless they're kind of in the know, they may not understand that. Or think about what a GC means. Are you GC, do you know, project management? Are you a GC, you just build houses? Are you a GC because you just remodel kitchens? It's very confusing what a GC truly is. So lead off with 2 sentences. A 7th grader is definitely going to know it, and you start off with I help. That's the first part of this whole situation is I help people do this, okay? So now we know what the surface level problem is that we solve. Let's talk about going a little bit deeper. And here's where most people stop, is we've got this, why is that a problem, right? I help people repaint their house. Okay, okay, stop. Why is that a problem that people need their house repainted? And this is really where the marketing comes in, because what we're trying to do with all this stuff, just like sales, is we're peeling back this onion. So what we're doing is, instead of stopping at I help people repaint their house, you're gonna go, great, well, why does their house need to be repainted? And the really good sales reps are gonna understand that, well, they need to get it repainted because it's ugly and they can't have their house parties and this and that. And marketing is no different. So whenever you craft your messages, whether you're running a Facebook post or you're making a website or whatever it is, you need to cut through all that crap, because otherwise what you're doing just by saying I repaint houses and leaving it surface level like that is you just commoditize yourself. All right, what you're doing is you're making it so that, well, everybody else can repaint a house too, but if you truly understand what people are going through and then you craft that message, you're gonna be way better off. So let's go off with like the repaint one, right? What do? I repaint homes. Got it. So that's the problem you solve. So we're gonna go, why is that a problem? Why is it a problem that people need their houses repainted? Well, they need their houses repainted because their paint is chipping, okay? Their paint is peeling, whatever it wants to be. You leave it at that, great. Well, why is that a problem? Well, it's a problem because it messes up the integrity of the home. All right, so now what we're talking about is we start off with I repaint houses to I help people, get back the integrity of their home. All right, and if you're really good at this stuff, you keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. All right, so what you would do now is you've got this surface level problem of repaint houses, which you still have to say it because people are still looking for that, but you could even hit it with a so that. And what a so that means is you start off with layer one. So you're gonna go, I help people repaint houses so that, and you hit them with layer three. I help people repaint houses so that they feel confident in the integrity of their home. All right, so we've gone from surface level now to deep down, and they're going, oh man, I get it. So what you're doing is either one, you're cutting deep to their emotion where they're at because they're truly afraid of the integrity of their home, or two, you're bringing up a problem they never thought of, right? Because they thought about, oh, he's just gonna repaint my home, not a big deal. But now what you're doing is you're actually cutting super deep. You're hitting them really hard by going so that the integrity of your home is intact, and they're gonna go, oh, I didn't even realize that was a thing. I didn't know my house was like having issues, right? I thought it looked bad, but in reality, the paint's peeling and it starts to mess up the siding falls down. I mean, this is your biggest investment as a homeowner, right? This is literally like the most expensive thing you're ever going to spend money on, and you want to watch it wither away. So when you talk about that kind of stuff on Facebook posts and things like that, that's how you want to talk, right? You want to cut super deep. And tonight, this is all about understanding how to cut deep. So that way from here, whenever we talk about websites or Facebook or Google or whatever it is, we know exactly what to say. All right, so you start off with layer surface level, initial problem, hit them with a so that, because it's a feature then a benefit. You go deep, you're good to go. All right, so if you ever write a Facebook post, that could be, let's say, for example, a before and after of somebody's exterior of their house being painted, right? You could literally say, we repainted this home so that the siding wouldn't start to decay or whatever the reason is, but make sure you start to hit deep down, and then people will stop and see that. And then if if some person sees it and they go, oh, wow, my neighbor is having some issues right there, they're gonna probably send that off to them, all right? Because again, they're not just saying I'm repainting it, they're saying I'm repainting it so that here's what we're solving, all right? So understand the deep down levels of all this stuff. It's no different than sales, but we're just now taking that and putting that online. All right, next thing, how do you solve that problem? All right, this is gonna be your surface level thing. All right, if you notice, we're going surface level problem and then surface level solution. How do you solve that? Well, we come out there, we chip it all down, we put on a primer, and then we repaint it, or whatever it is. again, you need to stay surface level at first. Just let people know, hey, look, we actually do this skill, because if you go too deep, too fast, nobody's gonna believe you. But if you start off surface level and go, this is tangibly what we do, so people can wrap their head around it, you're good to go. All right, so next thing is gonna be 2 sentences max, understood by a 7th grader again. I help by. I help by stripping down the paint, adding on the primer or whatever you gotta add on to it, and then repaint it, and that's it. So again, you're solving the external problem of what people think, because in reality, you know, like they think that all they need is paint, but in reality, they need more, right? But if you go for the more off the bat, it freaks them out, right? They're like, I don't need a life coach. I just need somebody that's gonna repaint my house. Same deal. All right. So start off super easy. How do you solve that problem? Surface level, two things max. 7th grader, I help by blank. All right. So then the next thing is, okay, now that you help them, now we go into the how are you different? And these are the big 4. All right. So you got the what's the problem? Why is that a problem? How do you help? And how are you different? And this is the differentiator. And here's why. I hear 100% of the people that I talk to, there's 2 things. There's 2 reasons. I say, why do people hire you? There's 2 things. 1, great communication. 2, quality of customer service. Okay? How many contractors do you think don't say that? How many do you think they say, oh, I'm terrible at communicating, or I do poor quality service? Like, every single person does that. So we're in a show me era, right? We have to actually straight up say, you know, hey, this is how I'm different, and let me show you that. So what we're trying to do on this one is we are trying to actually show people from a very tangible perspective how you're different. So again, people can wrap their heads around this and they feel safe. So let's go to like I don't know, a remodeler or a home builder. How are you different? We have great communication. Got it. Well, what do you mean by that? Well, actually, we have an app called Builder Trend that homeowners can use to see their projects. Well, what do you mean by that? Well, they know at what stage of the project we're in at any point in time. So what we've just done is we've started off by saying great communication, which everybody does, and now we're physically showing them a way of, this is how we have good communication. We use this tool so you know every step of the way of what's happening. So it's the same idea, you know, on the problem side, you're taking it and you're going super deep. And now when you talk about how are you different, you know, most clients hire us because we have great communication, because of the fact that we have Builder Trends, so you know exactly what's going on every step of the process. So again, all you're doing is you're just taking how you're different and you're peeling back the onion little by little, but you're just showing people how all this stuff works. So with all of these, you always want to go with a, well, what do you mean by that? Well, why is that like that? So whenever we build a website for somebody, I love playing devil's advocate. Why does somebody want their bathroom remodeled? Well, it's outdated. What do you mean it's outdated? What do you mean by that? Well, it's out, you know, it's too old, it's falling apart. What do you mean it's too old and falling apart? Well, so what you're doing is you're really trying to pull all the emotion out, both on the problem side, but also on who you are, by showing them what they can fully expect. Great communication, or hey, we finished on time. Well, how do you show them that you finished on time? Same deal. All right, so this is everything that we ever talk about. It's gonna come down to these 4 things, and really it's the 2 things. It's the why is that a problem, and how are you different, and how can you show that? So go through these guys, go through the why is that a problem, hit the different layers, how are you different, be prepared to show people. You can't just say it anymore, because everybody says it. Everybody talks about how quality they are. Everybody talks about how good of a communication they have, or that we do the best paint ever. Like, you know, we don't have, like, there's no dripping on it. Great, everybody does that. How are you different though? How do you actually stand out? And ask yourself, how can you physically show that? And that's what people want. All right, guys, so I hope you liked that, because it really is the basis
of marketing and sales as a whole. Most people get this thing wrong. First, they get how to present the value wrong, and then they don't even know how to back it up by smashing that like button on this YouTube video. So please do me a favor, hit that like button, and if you like what you saw, check out the rest of the stuff over at contractorgrowthnetwork.com. Join the Blueprint movement. All right, we're good.